I wanted to talk about Jupiter moving into Taurus. I think happens today or tomorrow. Depends on what time zone you're in, I suppose. Tomorrow is my dad's birthday, and he was a Taurus. Uh, Really close to trining my Venus, apparently. And so he, needless to say, influenced me very positively, actually, even though some things I've said um, just he has bad qualities too. I mean, what could you say about narcissists except for what they would say about themselves eventually is that they're kind of uh, like parrots. Anyway, let's get back to hi. I was just reflecting about these times where Jupiter has moved into Aries and now it's just trekking into Taurus. Jupiter um, is on 12-year cycle. Whatever was happening 12 years ago um, is Jupiter and Taurus too. And so that's what was happening 12 years ago for you. Like for me, well, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, oh, great. Even though it trines my Venus, it's not going to do that before squaring my moon. And the moon square Jupiter is not easy emotionally, and it's not like I'm not used to it. I've been having Saturn on my moon with Uranus squaring my moon, and now Jupiter is going to square my moon. Some amateur astrologers would say that, well, Jupiter can't make a negative aspect, and it's like, well, to hell that it can't. I mean, it could really go awry with its exaggerated tendency and everything, and so luckily, if you like drama, just stay tuned here, and by the time Jupiter gets to be squaring my moon, I hope it's not too dramatic. Really, just things happening, the happenings of life, and how do we handle it emotionally? 12 years ago, whoo! I don't even want to get into what I had gone through. Mainly for the Aries rising, the impact would be on going. See, it's the first house. Boy, 12 years ago, it's just a complete transformation, and it's happening again. If you look at that, Jupiter, and it's for the better. Jupiter has it looks heavyweight, but in the middle there's a diamond there. We suspect it's just under a lot of pressure, and it's huge, gaseous thing. It's our beneficiary. It's the one that's absorbing all of the negativity and stuff. I need to, well, I have my oatmeal going on my wood stove back there, and it's 7 o'clock, and I'm kind of realizing, along with my oatmeal going, I should be doing yoga. That's the way it's been happening for the past few days, and I can just do that for the next 30 or 40 days and click into a different um, way of being, right? And that's what transformation is all about. I mean, a lot of times, I mean, I would hate to force it on, but when you feel like, well, like this feels better, and this is what you end up doing because it feels good. That's really good, right? No, now talking about Jupiter going into Taurus, wow, uh, even though it trines my Venus, it squares my moon. Like for a lot of people, it might be true. Like you might have some really good things happening on top of some hardship is continuing on. It's there, but you are able to, like, see, Jupiter is able to absorb like the comets that are breaking apart and flying towards it. It has. We've seen it uh, in the past where Jupiter was blasted by a massive amount of something. It was going to impact something in the solar system, and Jupiter said, "I'll take it." And whatever hit it was whatever hit it. um, left a massive, like, trippy hole in about, like, I'd say, wasn't a quarter of the planet, but a good part of the planet was, you could just see it on that one side. I had a friend who had a telescope, and we looked at it. I saw it with my naked eye. Anyway, then I have clothes on right now. My eye has clothes on. Anyway, getting back to, to just life happening, and how these the seasons of the planets, what they point at is the possibility of how it could be handled, what area, what's the character, what is the color, whatever, I mean, for me, I'm an Aquarius moon. Not too serious most of the time, actually, as serious as a child at play, but because what the moon is your everyday, and then you have Aquarius over there in left field, probably just left the field actually, and went to wherever Uranus is, just rode the guidelines in which the lightning bolt has been instructed to shoot across the sky with, and we'll be back. Never, actually. It's hard to locate an Aquarius even right there. It's like, hello, where did you go? Well, I'm 35 years ahead of time. Having the moon there, I am an Aquarius, technically. If you have the moon there, you say, oh, I'm an Aquarius also. That's your moon. It's actually more active than the sun. The sun is one day it's moving slow. It takes 30 days to do the whole zodiac. Um, sorry, that's the moon. It's moving fast, and it takes 30 days, 1 month to do the whole zodiac. It's like, hello, every day is every 2 days it's changing a sign. The sun takes um, 12 months to go around the whole zodiac, a whole year, right? That's kind of funny because it's like, well, that is a year, I know. Ooh wee ah. Anyway, back to the Jupiter in Taurus. Very we had this exaggeration of the male energy and the ego, and how harsh that really can be, and now Jupiter, see that Jupiter entered into Aries last year around about this time, kind of was sneaking up, and it really was by July. It was at 6 degrees for the first time in my life. I'm feeling it, and it's like lots of changes going on. Why that had to happen? It's like, just I kind of understand it now, but it's really hard to handle. I can't. You don't force relationship that you want in your life. You don't. Um, you just notice. Okay, after time, these people aren't around. They aren't lending. They're not even fending for you. If there was a slight possibility, they miss it heading their way. It's a miss. So you don't go there anymore. See, for the Aries in particularly, as I'm in the Aries rising and heading into Taurus too. Taurus has this now coming up. If you're a Taurus rising, of course, it's just like the name of the game is to get rid of those associations and people in our lives that aren't there. You're putting effort in. You're there. Whatever little um, time that you can spend, you're putting 110% in, and you're bringing something to the table. And I was just thinking this morning, I hate to sound like a victim, but I guess it's still Neptune square my Venus time, and it's like, what, actually, and it's not just this little bit of a time. All your life, Shauna, you have, okay, what I ended up with is, all your life, Shauna, you've been the cheese. You've been just nothing but the fucking amazing, perfectly aged choice cheese. And with a perfect chunk of beautiful cheese, what do you get? Mice. Mice come and just take a chunk and take a chunk there and they steal, right? You have to expect it. I mean, maybe even a crow. like this, but the mice are there always stealing. I was thinking after a while, I was like, well, what happens to the fucking cheese after a while? If the mice keep doing this and that, like especially like to one side, does it just go like this? And it's like, oh hi, how are you? Excuse me. Ah. Who? I would love to feed whatever the fuck is there. I mean, of course I'm the cheese, and I'm feeding other things, but it's like, yeah, but these rats here, these fucking shit. You understand? If you feed into the right thing, like the cheese makers, there's that saying, creativity doesn't get lost. It just gets more creative. It produces more. It gets more and more creative. It just taps into. It doesn't waste itself, right? Does it? No. That's part of being creative. Having said that, it's like I laugh at some people that say, well, you have, especially with the recordings and stuff and the first time thing, like when I think after 3,000 videos, I'll finally have some content for us that I'll figure out, okay, I think I'll start refining and doing something with it. Really, but that's life itself. But no, that's with everything, and musicians are the same. You'd say, it's ridiculous to say you're playing too much, you're saying too much, or you're doing too much, or there's too much in one, or it's scattered. It's like, get out of here if you don't know how to work with chaos, and then after a while, you start getting, I mean, look at Jupiter over there, not fucking around. And now that it's in Venus rulership, different than Mars, it's like, excuse us as the feminine rises up, and by the way, that planet is hotter than Mars, supposedly. Nobody can touch it. Yeah, right. Nobody can touch it because that's where the real benevolent life on Earth is. That's the ruler of Earth over there, totally teeming with life, and everybody is stuffed full of shit about that. You could take one source and shove it, But anyway, let's ignore Venus. Can we? With Jupiter there? Easy too, babe. She smooths things out. She's doing things, especially with Venus in Cancer. It's a good time to expose how that an empath is doing things on a high vibrational level daily, if not moment to moment, that it's work to other people. It's work. They could not set themselves aside to be there like that vibrationally and notice somebody else's shoes and their emotional state or capacity or what's going on, and to be present and be forgiving and be understanding and be present. We need shelter, babe. We need love. We need Mother Nature. If you hear like this sound, like this shh sound, I open the window, and now that I look at it, my great grandpa, these windows here, this window faces the creek, and then those windows faces the creek. I open these windows versus the windows over here on this side. Um, there's the traffic over there. You can hear the streets. Hard to explain, by the way. It's psychologically, I'm really having to deal with that. This city has it's weird. It's made it up to here. And it's like, well, people think it's always been like that. It's like, no, there's some people locally. And I saw in the paper, sorry, I'm getting off subject matter of the windows and the creek, the sound. See, the sound of the creek right now, if I open up the windows that are facing the creek, overrides the sound of the fucking highway over there. Where I was just thinking, okay, so this city thing, this mental imprisonment thing, where it's a plague. The mind is what ultimately, academia and whatever we think we are doing here is a disease. That's what gets up at 4 and 5 in the morning and says, well, we really got to get going and fucking A. Really, we're going to learn with the Taurus planets, which Mercury went forward like today, from being retrograde in Taurus, early degrees. It's going to square my moon, by the way, but it's going to trine my Venus later on. It's weird. My moon just needs to sit that out and say, would you just sit with it? There's something deeper than no earth at all. You know, that's the Aquarius is like needs earth. Would you please ground yourself a little bit? Plug in, plug in. There you go. Plug. Is there a fucking positive and negative ground? Do you have a ground to use this stuff? What are you doing? What's going on? Well, the truth is there. That's why Taurus is so heavy duty. And it's Earth. I was just thinking, like, whew, I wouldn't be surprised with Jupiter moving into Taurus that the Earth starts shaking again. I mean, I kind of got some of it on video here. Maybe I'll put it here just for fun. Um, with Jupiter, I was just thinking this morning. I was like, okay, so Jupiter is going to move into the Earth. By the way, did you know that the Jupiter can't fit into the Earth? Why? Jupiter is huge! Huge! You can fit like 300 Earths inside, or 3,000 Earths inside of its one little eye thing that it has on the side of it, whatever that is, geometrically. It's not a planet. We don't know. Have a beautiful day, though, you guys. You don't know what a planet is. We don't know what half the stuff is because our words are gibberish anymore. Thank God. Just kidding. Look at. Did you hear the birds? And did you hear the? See, that's what I have to go and refreshen myself with. You know, easy for me to just fall back into that with having Venus in Earth at 23 Virgo. See, I'm waiting for my oatmeal right now that's being cooked on the wood stove. Today was the first day that I didn't really have a fire overnight. I'm just having this fire because I want to be able to use the firewood stove instead of paying for electric, right? That's what I'm using to. So you know, it would be ideal if I could swing that thing out the door, you know, and have a kitchen, which it used to be set up out on the deck. Somebody beforehand, you know, because this place has been here a while and other people have lived here, and I see what they were trying to do. There was kind of like a kitchenette just right outside. And they were thinking of it along the lines of what I was thinking, which is what, Shauna? Self-sustained. Just that thing can be heating water, and it's just a matter of focus. Yes, and I'm looking at it and it's like, gosh, you know, can anybody focus on anything nowadays? With Taurus planets, I bet you anything, yes. There isn't. If you haven't noticed the past 3 years with what Jupiter has been doing, see, speaking at the Jupiter going in Taurus, that's going to square Pluto. Because when it was 3 years ago in March, when Pluto conjunct Jupiter along with Saturn too, it was like ooh, this major funny thing that went on with the boogeyman, exaggerated boogeyman story, and you better and put on your mask and stuff like that. And residuals of that going on and somebody laughing in the background for sure. Yes, Satan. Excuse me. You again? You fucking. Excuse me. Oh, God. Cook. Yeah. Easy. Just. Truth destroys that loser. Really. Not of this world, you're not. And, you know, I was just thinking, don't try to make that world better. That's what the Taurus vibration is saying, is like you change your inner being. Well, how do we do that? Well, this is easy. You know, first there's the I am, and then we maintain the quality of that I am with the Venus, who has a sense of it all, like the sensual. It's very sensual, just like pay attention to what feels good. Oh no. Are we talking to a bunch of sadomasochistic psychos? Yes. Well, back off. They are even worried about, even the narcissists are worried about what feels good. Like, what? You mean cater to to joy and pleasure. They have got that so turned around. It's like, yeah, no, that's how you start. You maintain get a smile on your face. Oh no, there's like two schools here. Would you please figure out which class you belong in? Did you get flipped upside down and backwards to think that now you have to unlearn all of that stuff now? And it's, if you're watching this, congratulations, it's not too late for you. You have yet to make it to the promised land. Yes, the one that Christ Jesus was here to sacrifice herself over, so that, wait, excuse me, who are you again? So that what may live? Oh God, shit! Excuse me.